Day 107. Get the days right. I think I said 105 yesterday. It was actually 106. Today's 107. Feels like 405. But either way, it's 107 today. As discussed yesterday, without going into too much detail, we are behind. But there was a lot to do. The boss is now saying Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, whenever. So he's saying Sunday at this present time. So that's the date that everyone's aiming for still. Still shed loads to do. Let's have a walk around the front of the building first. Morning, buddy.
Yeah, boss.
How are you?
Good, man. You good, man?
Good, mate.
Right?
Yeah, good. Right. So there's been a lot focused on in and around here in regards to the plastering the outside. The guys were sporadically picking up blocks and rubble, which, as you can see, those big blocks have gone. There's still a lot of untidying that needs to be done around here, which I'm sure we'll get around to doing, but the finishing product on the outside has been a bit of a focus to try and get that done. The drainage and the backfill is going to be really important, so that's probably why they've put some time and effort into that. As you can see on what in effect is the east side of the building, the beach facing side of the building, the boxing has got the acros, and unlike England, they just literally put them into the ground and then bang a bit of rebar through them to hold them in place at the bottom. That's got to be done around the whole of the boxing area, so that's going to have to be boxed in. I'm not too sure how they're going to do the elements of the inside, you know, like this here. I'm not too sure they're going to do that, but it'll be the same thing. It has to be held in place because the weight from the concrete is huge. There's not a great deal that's changed, so there's no real point in me boring you to death, obviously, in where we are on the floor. The rebar guys have still got to finish off, so there's still some stuff on that. As I said yesterday, the starter bars, they started putting some in before they left. If I show you what I mean. So these are starter bars. So basically you've got a little bit of rebar hanging up and they tie another piece of that rebar to it. So you need that all the way along. And as you can see, there's gaps here, look. So I don't know how many they're meant to do, but I'm pretty sure they're meant to be around about 1.5 foot apart. Pretty sure it's like every other hole that there's meant to be rebar through. So they've got to do that all the way around the property, all the way around anywhere there's going to be a wall above. So this is patio, so there'll be nothing above that, so that's okay, that'll be trimmed off. This will obviously have a wall going up, so anywhere where there's a wall, so on this wall here, for instance, you've got if I can try and make out where we are, I'm pretty sure where that piping is there, that's the edge of the building, there's an overhang, then there's a wall, and then this here is bifolds, so this is windows, so they don't need to be there. Then you'll have the column in the middle, which is obviously where it needs to be. Again, in the middle, you don't need to tie there because there'll be windows, and then there'll be another column. But the starter bars go all the way around the side, apart from where the windows are. And as you can see down the side of the building, which I've shown you before, the acros are obviously all in place for that. And as you can see, starter bars go all the way down the side of the building. So we'll need it down that side. The far side, we'll have to have it all the way around. And that's pretty much it. Obviously on the other side of the building where the apartment is, where the guys over there are working, that's going to have walls going up all the way around pretty much. So they've got to get the starter bars in there. It's just so that after they've done before they've done the pour, you really can't put the steel into the floor once the concrete's been poured. So you put the starter bars in, you pour the concrete, and then the rebar is actually hanging out the concrete, and then they block down. And then after they've done that, it's the same as they did with the basement. They then pour from the top all the concrete through the holes to make it a solid block wall, basically. Someone actually on one of the previous videos said, why don't they concrete it? Why do they use blocks? Here they just don't. They don't have the infrastructure or the technology like America, for instance. They'd have to use wood. There's no aluminium formwork or anything like that. Stuff that can be put up, poured, and then reused. Everything's wood, and wood is so expensive here. It's cheaper to use blocks and pour. But I just think it's more a behaviour thing. They're just not used to it. They're not used to how technology's moved on. Obviously, we would box all of that in. We've got England and America. We've got the sort of the fiberglass ties. Here, they would use funny thing about it, they would use like probably a 1 inch bit of plastic pipe, and they put that all the way through, all the way along, and then they'll bolt from the front to the back. So by the time you finish, you've got loads of plastic holes. You undo the bolts, because that's what's holding the formwork together, and then you've got loads of plastic holes all the way along, whereas in England and America, you would put those fiberglass or even plastic ties, and you clip them off, so it's all sealed. They just don't have that technology here. It's mainly because of behaviour, not because of a lack of money or whatever else. I think, obviously, one of the downsides is that everything here has to be imported, and the import has a huge cost. So that's one of the reasons why. To give you an example, everything's got 17.5% VAT that comes into the country. So if you bought £10,000 worth of construction products in America to import here, you'd have the import charge, which has gone crazy. Then you would have the VAT element, 17.5% on top of whatever you paid, including the VAT that you've already paid. And then, depending on what the product is, you would then have a tax. The lowest tax is free. Solar, for instance, is free for tax, but 17.5% VAT. Air conditioning units, 20% tax, 17.5% VAT. Cars, 250%. So there really is a bit of they're working against themselves to try and bring in anything that will help them be more fluid in the way they work. So it's a shame the tax and the attitude towards importing technology is actually preventing them from moving forward in a certain way. But there's also a beauty to that as well. So not when you're painfully going through delays like I'm going through, but anyway, they're still using loads of wood. They could be using aluminium. There's lots of stuff they could physically change, but with that becomes an opportunity. So I'm trying to work with the builder at the moment on seeing if there's any opportunities we can try and take advantage of by bringing here to make his business better. It's not going to help my build, unfortunately, but it certainly could help the next one or the next ones that he does. So anyway, that's where we are so far. He's due to come at 9 o'clock. The pour, as I said, is going to be going ahead, hopefully for Sunday stroke Monday. Still lots of work to do, electrical, mechanical, data, rebar, finishing off the marl and the formwork and caging for the annex. And then getting ready for what is, in effect, going to be a bloody busy day on Sunday. So that's where we are so far. So I'll check in a bit later on and give you an update if there is any. Okay, what's the time now? 20 to 4. Just come to site, have a quick update. What's going on? Seems to be stuff happening, that's for sure. Acros everywhere holding stuff up. Oh, missed the holes. The acros all gone a little bit more in here. No, still need more acros in here. So pipe work hanging down, so that's come through beams. So we need to straighten them up a bit more. And then the beam needs to be acroed as well. Yeah, so certainly more acros in there. Oh, acros around here. These have all been done, so this is what they do. They literally benchmark it. Yeah, so all on here as well. Not all done, but some of that's been done as well. Let's go around the front. See if we can climb up on the pool. As I said earlier, the aim is to try and pour Sunday now, apparently, but I would have thought that's more like Monday. Again, acros holding up all of this. Okay, so what we got there. The guys working on the front. Okay, so that pretty much answers the question I talked about the other day, or sorry, this morning even. How are they going to acro the concrete on the swimming pool? There's your answer. Turn it into a boat. So they've got a hull in the middle, and they acro into each one of them and obviously leverage across. So that makes sense. Here's been done too. It was done pretty much up into the dark one, and they've obviously applied these ones as well. That'll be done on the front here. Never seen better days. So yeah, board knuckles here. How's it going, guys? All good? Okay, so let's have a look what's happened up here today. Bloody concrete.
Sunday. Sunday.
It's better than my Bajan accent, put it that way, Ed. Okay, so then we've got the formwork all the way around the other side now. We've got the DPM sheeting down. Pest treatment's already taken place. Column stroke beam's been put through. I think they call it BRC. The caging, obviously around the outside, so you can see the beams going around the outside as well. You can see the plumber's pipes and the electrical pipes, conduits going all around. Waste and guttering all in. That's pretty much all we can do in there. I'm pretty sure there's not a great deal to be done right now. In here, pipes still need to be finished off over there. So the pipe work going in, these drains at the moment down here, we talked about them going straight into here. That's got to be being done. But again, that's all done. Part of the pour as well, what we're going to be doing here, I said this morning, we're going to be leaving the top off here and doing a wooden floor in here in case we ever have to take up inside to get the tanks out. That means that's got to be poured separate in line with this, but also means they're going to have to try and pour around there on the beams. So the beams will be done separate, so on everything else, obviously, as they pour the floors, the concrete goes in and obviously does the beams at the same time, so it's just pump and vibrate. For those of you who don't understand vibrate, they pour the concrete and then they stick a vibrating tool into the concrete which shakes the stones down and brings the moisture and water up to the surface. It gives it a better surface. And all of this, believe it or not, is meant to be poured on Sunday, and it's all got to be polished. So that means that as it starts going off, they wet it and they use like a helicopter upside down. That literally polishes the concrete, and then they have an adjustment on it that means they can turn it and polish it smoother and smoother and smoother as it dries. So all of this, all of that in there, all of the inside the house, all the way down here, all the way around the pool. Apart from this marl area here, which is about 4.5 foot, and 4.5 foot round the pool, which is going to be deck, everything else is going to be polished. So the width of that, technically, where that depth is there, that will come round, it comes round here, and the same sort of depth, pretty much where that pipe is, all the way down. Anything else is going to be concrete and going to be polished. So still shed loads to do. So I still think Sunday is going to be a tough ask, but it is 2 days away. We're Friday after all, 3:45 on a Friday, so we still have time, but it's only 24 hours really. So anyway, so the aim is potentially pour. Could happen, may not happen, but we're certainly going to try to make it happen, that's for sure. Let's see how it goes.